Hello, my name's Sam, my pronouns are they, them, and welcome back to my office. So, today I'm actually going to be doing my 25 most anticipated releases of 2023. There are definitely way more than 25 that I can think of, even off the top of my head, but I want to do these 25 in particular, specifically because one, I think they're incredibly exciting. I would say almost all of them are queer in some capacity, and I think most of them have release dates so far. I think there are two that don't. Some of them are from authors that I've already read, some of them are from authors that I've been dying to read. So yeah, let's go through it, and I'll tell you about my 25 most anticipated releases. These are in no particular order in any capacity. I just kind of made a list and got all the information that I needed from them. So my first one is Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. It is the prequel to The Priory of the Orange Tree, which is a fantasy that I read in 2022 that I loved. I read it towards the beginning of the year, but I'm hoping to do a reread of it before I read the prequel. Do I know what the prequel is about? No. Have I even really read the synopsis? No, because it doesn't matter. The Priory of the Orange Tree was so good that I don't care at all what this is about. It's massive. It's beautiful. I know that I'm going to love the writing style. I know that it's going to be a slow burn, and I know that it's going to be an incredibly high fantasy with amazing world building. So no, I don't care what it's about. I can tell you that it is sapphic in nature, which so is The Priory, so I expected that. And it is coming out on February 28th. So I know that everyone in the world at this point is counting down the days until this comes out, me included. That one was obvious. That we've been talking about that for like 6 months. The next one is The Sun and the Void by Gabriela Romero Lacruz. So this is also sapphic in nature. It is South American folklore. It focuses on colonialism, ancient magic. It's an epic fantasy. I don't really know anything about South American folklore. It's not something that I have delved into in any capacity, but I really love folklore in general, and I've been getting into different countries' folklore at this point. You know, I think that this year in particular is going to be like the year of me trying to get into adult fantasy. So this is adult. This is not YA. So YA, South American folklore, colonialism, sapphic, everything I could ever want. So The Sun and the Void is set to release on July 25th. So I've got quite a ways to wait on that one. So my next one is She is a Haunting by Trong Tan Tran. I hope I said that right. It is being released on February 28th of this year, and it is sapphic in nature as well. We can really see my priorities this year. It is gothic. I'm pretty sure the main character, Jade, is pretending to be closeted to kind of gain what she needs from her family to be successful in life. And this is all about a haunted house. So what I'm kind of expecting from this is that whole gothic idea of like, is she going crazy or is the house all messed up? You know, kind of giving me like a little bit of Mexican gothic vibes. So that's where I'm hoping that this goes. This is set in Vietnam, so it'll be a different setting that I don't ever remember reading something set in Vietnam. So that's all I really know about this, but I'm just kind of going to go with it. So the next one is Darkwater Daughter by H.M. Long. It is being released on July 11th of this year. I don't know if it is queer in any capacity. I don't feel confident enough to say yes or no at this point, so we're just kind of going to go with it. It is adult, and it has pirates and magic. It's an epic fantasy. It has rivals, so I'm assuming it's kind of going to be like an enemies to lovers thing, maybe. That's just a guess at this point, though. So, from what I understand, this one's definitely going to be like adventure focused. I really don't know if it's going to be romance or not. So, you've got your two different main characters. One of them is a storm singer, and she is like contracted to, enslaved to a pirate lord. And then you have the second main character, and he is a pirate hunter. So they end up being rivals, and then they end up kind of being forced to decide on the sides that they're choosing. So it very easily could be enemies to lovers, but it very easily could also not be that. There is no indication of romance in the synopsis. So we'll see, but I'm still excited about it. I'm kind of into pirates in water this year because I read Skin of the Sea by Natasha Bowen, and I really loved that. So I'm kind of feeling like the mermaid pirate, that kind of direction. So my next one, I don't have a release date for. I don't know if it is sapphic in nature, but it is The Dawn of the Coven by Alexis Henderson, and it is the sequel to The Year of the Witching. So I really loved that. I think I also read that last year, and I don't really remember what it was about, honestly. I would have to go back and check my notes. I do remember really loving it, though. I don't think it was queer in nature. I think it had, like, a queer grandmother or something like that. And I remember it being super messed up. But that's all I really got for you. But it's gothic, it's got witches, and it's got badassery. So I don't care. We're going with it. So the next one is My Dear Henry by Kaylin Bayron. So it is set to release on March 7th. And it is queer, it is gay, it is YA. So this is my first anticipated release that's YA. It's certainly not going to be my last. It is a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde retelling, but our main character is a young black boy. It's set in London in 1885. So it's about Gabriel and Henry. They're kicked out of school for their suspected queer activities, and then Henry ends up disappearing. And that's kind of where this all starts from. I'm really interested in where the author decides to take this, based off of, well, first of all, I've never actually read Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I know of the story, as everyone does, but I've never actually read it. So I'm not sure exactly where it goes, but I'm kind of interested in the fact that this all centers around suspected activities between these two boys and how their lives are affected by this. I'm also really interested in the London 1885 perspective, so we'll kind of see where this goes. I'm pretty sure this author is the same author. I think she wrote like Cinderella is Dead or something like that. And I didn't read that one because I personally hate Cinderella with my entire being. So I'm really excited to be able to give this author a try with something that there's a large chance of me actually liking. Okay, so the next one is Lucha of the Night Forest by Taylor K. Mejia. I hope that's right. It's coming out on March 21st. It is YA, but it is sapphic in nature. So, what I know about this one, it's got a spooky forest, it's got magic, it's got, like, sisterly bonds. I love a good, like, my sister is my priority kind of moment. I just love it. I think seeing that bond between sisters is just, like, really, really important to me. So I like when I can read stories that are centered around that. So, like, let's just look at this cover. Okay, some of these covers that are coming out this year are just mind-blowingly beautiful. So, I'm excited for this one. I honestly have no idea how long any of these books are. So, but it's fine. It's fine. I'm still excited. So my next one is Ravensong by Kayla Faye. It is being released on March 14th. It is YA and it is sapphic in nature. Okay. So this one is Celtic mythology. It's got a demigod forced to live among humans. You've got like this demigod who ends up starting to fall for this human, but it's more than she bargained for because creatures from hell want the human love interest. Cute fantasy. What more can I ask for? This year is definitely going to be my year of mythology and lore because you know what? I want to do fantasy. And you know what? Fantasy requires a lot of world building and lore and all that fun stuff. So I am here for it. I am down for it. I'm really hoping to read all 25 of these books this year. So let's see where we go. Oh my god. This one I'm so excited for. The Wicked Bargain by Gabe Cole Nova. It's releasing on February 1st. It is YA. It has a trans-masked, non-binary main character. It has gender-fluid characters, and it gets better. It gets so much better. It's about a pirate who has fire and ice magic fighting against a bargain. So, it's a Latinx pirate fantasy starring a trans-masculine, non-binary team with a mission of revenge, redemption, and revolution. What? Right there. You got me. Hook, line, and sinker. I don't care. I'm so excited about it. That's all. I feel like that's all anyone needs to know to automatically be excited for this one. So February 1st. Ready for it. The next one is probably one of my only like real thrillers on this list. It is Such Pretty Flowers by K.L. Sarah. It's releasing on February 7th. It is sapphic in nature and it is an adult thriller. You've got our main character, her brother is dead. Supposedly he offed himself, and she starts investigating his florist girlfriend as a suspect because she thinks that he did not actually off himself. And you know, his sister, our main character, starts to kind of fall for his girlfriend even though she's still a potential murder subject. So that's all I need. Okay, so my next one is The Witch and the Vampire by Francesca Flores. It's releasing on March 21st, and it is YA. It is sapphic. It is a Rapunzel retelling between a witch and a vampire, and it's got like the scary dark forest vibes. This seems like it's going to be really, really complicated, but really interesting. And the cover is also just beautiful. It's like the two little hands and the flowers, and I just think it's perfect. So I really loved it. I'm excited for it. I feel like so many of these are releasing like within the first couple months of the year, and it overwhelms me a little bit because I want them all. But we'll kind of see how far I get. I feel like I'm going to have a book buying problem this year, personally speaking. So the next one is Alecto the Ninth by Tamsin Moyer. I hope. I'm butchering people's names today. I'm so sorry. But it is releasing on October 10th of 2023. It is sapphic in nature, and it is book 4 in the Gideon the Ninth series. Have I started the series at all? No. Do I own the first 2 books? Yes. So what could I possibly not like about this? A lesbian necromancer. There's literally nothing that I could dislike about this series. So I'm just procrastinating at this point. And I really need to get onto that. But I have until October 10th when the 4th book comes out. So I got time. So the next one is also by Tamsin. It is Go Marching In, and it came out on January 1st. It is sapphic in nature. And all I really know about it is that it is a novella about post-cyberpunk Earth. I don't really know very much more, but it's a novella. I like to break everything up with a novella every once in a while, and it sounds really interesting, and it's sapphic in nature, and it's an easy way for me to consume a little bit of sci-fi, because sci-fi is something that I struggle with. Number 14 is If Tomorrow Doesn't Come by Jen St. Jude. It releases on May 9th. It is sapphic in nature, and it is YA. So this one I almost didn't put on here. I was almost not really interested in this. So it is Queer First Love, End of the World, 9 Days to Live, which in and of itself is not really like my vibe, but it centers around mental health and an offing yourself plan. So I was really interested because it brings together, like, it's recommended to readers who loved We Are Okay by Nina LaCour and They Both Die at the End by, I think, Adam Silvera. And I really, really loved both of them. I have read We Are Okay by Nina LaCour at least 4 times now. And They Both Die at the End it was just heartbreaking, and I know that he just put out another book, and I'm not really ready for that much sobbing again, but that doesn't mean I'm not interested in it. It's a debut novel, and you know what? The sci-fi elements of it, I might be able to put to the side to get the feelings that We Are Okay and They Both Die at the End gave me. Because it's not easy to find those kind of feelings from books, and it's definitely something that I've been searching for. So they really hooked me with that aspect of it, the mental health aspect of it. So the next one is, actually, I found out it's the March book for the MB Book Club hosted by Jessie from Books and Bowties, and it is The Faithless by C.L. Clarke, which is the second book in the Unbroken series. It is sapphic in nature, and it is an adult. I don't know anything about this. All I know is now I have to get the first book and read it. Because, you know what, it's a high fantasy, lesbian. That's all I really need. And it's adult. That's all I need. I'm just kind of going with it. So, double reasons to read it. The next one is Vengeance of the Pirate Queen by Trisha Levenseller. It is releasing on November 7th this year. I have no idea if it's queer in any variety. And it is YA. But it is a standalone fantasy romance. Love that. Love that already. It's about pirates, assassins, sea creatures, and the undead. Okay? So I feel emotionally prepared to dive into something like that, knowing that it is a standalone. It is so hard to find standalone fantasies right now. You bring in pirates and adventure and all that fun stuff. Absolutely. I am down for it. I'm here for it. Let's go. Okay, so the next one is one that I'm unsure about. I'm unsure if I'm going to like it or not, but I want to give it a chance because the cover's really cute, and I think that it's a really cute concept. So it is Gwen and Art Are Not in Love by Lex Crocher. It is to release on May 2nd. It is gay and sapphic. It is YA, and it's based on Camelot. So it has an arranged marriage. So you've got these two, like, important children to, like, head families, like, really important families. And they are in an arranged marriage. They do not like each other very much. Like, they're not straight, they're not into each other, so they are forced to spend the summer together at Camelot in the run-up to their nuptials, and within 24 hours, Gwen has discovered Arthur kissing a boy, and Arthur has gone digging for Gwen's childhood diary, and found confessions about her crush on the kingdom's only lady knight, Bridget LeClaire. That sounds so cute. That sounds like everything that I could possibly need in something like cheesy, cute romance. So I'm going to take it. There's not really a lot of like contemporary that I'm super excited for this year, so I'm going to take that for myself. I have a slideshow up behind you. If you want my slideshow, just let me know. I tried to be organized for this. Okay, so the next one might be my most anticipated of the year. It is In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune. It is to release on April 25th. It is queer, and it is adult. Now, we all know that TJ Klune has become an auto-buy author for me. I've loved everything that he has put out. I read Under the Whispering Door and The Extraordinaries in 2022, and I loved them both. I've gotten multiple friends into TJ Klune through the House on the Cerulean Sea. I'm down for whatever he puts out. So it's supposed to be like a mix between Pinocchio, the Swiss Family Robinsons, and WALL-E. And I think that's so interesting. And I think that's all that I need to know at this point. It's a standalone fantasy. I really like that TJ Klune keeps putting out standalone fantasies. I think that they're really interesting and they're not overwhelming, so I'm more likely to pick them up pretty immediately. So the next one I don't have a cover for. The next one is He Who Drowned the World by Shelley Parker Chan, and it is to release on August 22nd. It is queer and it is adult. So it's the second book to She Who Became the Sun, which was like a Mulan kind of retelling. And I thought it was interesting. I read it for the 2022 NB Book Club, and I thought it was okay. I didn't really love it, but I think that I also might have not been in the right headspace to read it, so I'm kind of interested in going back and maybe giving the first couple chapters a reread, see if I want to continue with it, because I'm interested in the story itself. You have this young girl who she is kind of abandoned by her family. Like, her father and her brother both die. They were not good to her. They treated her like trash, but she kind of took her brother's place in the world and went to, I think it's a monastery or like wherever monks go, and pretended to be him, basically. So I think that the concept itself was interesting. I think that I read it at the wrong time, so I kind of want to give the second book a chance and see if I like it. So we'll kind of go from there, I guess. So the next one is Now She Is Witch by Kirsty Logan. It is to be published on January 12th. I don't know if it's queer. It is adult. So let me just read you like a portion of the synopsis, because I think it kind of tells you everything that you need to know. Lux has lost everything when Elsie finds her, alone in the woods. Her family, her lover, her home, all burned. The world is suspicious of women like her, but Lux is cunning. She knows how to exploit people's expectations, how to blend into the background, and she knows all about poisons. So we've got revenge, we've got trauma, we've got witchcraft, we've got feminism. I mean, it's just kind of interesting. So why not? Honestly, more women taking revenge on the universe as a whole is what I need in this world. The next one is Godkiller by Hannah Karner. Now, I don't know the release date of this. It is queer. It is YA. And it's all about this girl who kills gods for a living. She finds a god that she cannot kill, and it's basically about this god killer, this small god, and this soldier who all kind of end up joining together, and I kind of want them to become like a cute little traveling family kind of vibe, a little found family moment. So we'll see. Honestly, the cover is just stunning. The warm tones, I just love it. So whatever. I don't really need to know much about it. So the next one is Godly Heathens by H.E. Edgman. It is to be released on November 28th. It is non-binary, or it has a non-binary character. It is YA, so it's about a reincarnated god who was not a good god and made a lot of enemies in their past life, and they were reincarnated into a human, and now said human is starting to like be attacked because people have realized who this god reincarnated into, and they want revenge. So I think that's really interesting, and I don't think that I need to know anything else. So the next one is Dragonfall by Laura Lamb. It is to be released on May 2nd. I think it has trans rep in it, and it is an adult. So the note I made about this one is dragons being salty and trying to survive. So this is all about dragons who like were pushed into the shadows, and humans betrayed them, and they stole their magic a long time ago. The last male dragon of their kind gets dragged into the human world disguised as a human, and I just think that it's going to be interesting. I think it's supposed to be a trilogy, and it's about dragons, and I like dragons, so we'll see if I end up liking this. So the next one, it's one of the very few sci-fis on my list. It is, well, I guess you call it more of a dystopian. I kind of categorize sci-fi and dystopian into the same area, I guess. I don't really know why. So it is World Running Down by Al Hess. It is to be released on February 14th. It is trans. It has trans rep, and it is adult. The only reason that this one is on my list is for the trans rep. I think that part of the story is kind of what does it for me. So you've got our main character, Valentine. He is a scavenger in the future world, and he struggles a lot with body dysmorphia. He gets a really kind of dangerous job that can end up going really poorly. So he's hired to go and like steal some stolen androids back, but the androids end up not wanting to go back. But the price of this is citizenship into Salt Lake City, which is where he could have a safe and fulfilling life, and where he'd be able to receive transition health care. So, I mean, I think that sounds really interesting. I think it sounds kind of realistic, and something that I imagine people actually kind of go through. So, I'm interested to see where they take it. And our final one is The Surviving Sky by Kritika H. Rao. It is to be released on June 13th. It is queer, and it is adult. So it is a debut, and it is inspired by Hindu philosophy. It's a fantasy that follows a husband and wife racing to save their living city and their troubled marriage high above a jungle world besieged by cataclysmic storms. So I think that it's kind of interesting. To be honest, it kind of gives me slight vibes of the 5th season series the Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. I don't know why. Like, the synopsis, what these are about are not even close to about the same thing, but my heart just kind of reaches towards the Broken Earth trilogy when I look at this. So I'm just kind of going with it at this point. I'm just kind of taking the vibe. Maybe it's pulling me in that direction for a reason. Okay, so that is it for my 25 most anticipated releases of 2023. I will kind of try and do a check-in at some point of the year, where 1, I can tell you what I've read, and then 2, I can tell you what's coming out in the second half of the year. That's the most interesting, because most of the things that I've mentioned come out within the first 3 or 4 months of the year. Let me know if there's anything that you think that really should be added to this most anticipated list. Tell me what you're excited about, where your reading plans are going in the new year. And I hope that everyone's having an awesome day, and I'll see you later. Bye.